Well, good morning, and it's Keith Hayes from Rouser Radio in East Sussex, the United Kingdom. And I spent the night the evening yesterday evening at Lewes District Council. I wanted to go and see what went on there because I've been critical enough, but it has been some years since I've been to a council meeting. In fact, the last one was in Pelham House, so it shows how long ago it was. The first thing that struck me was that Pelham House had a lovely chamber. It had the right ambience, it had the right sense of dignity. The one at County Council is just awful. Just awful. There is no sense of presence at all. None whatsoever. It's just a functional room with functional furniture. The only thing is it's got the coat of arms, Sussex coat of arms, on an oak chair in which the chairman sits. And after that, you might as well be in any room in 1,000 high-rises anywhere in the world. What a disappointment that was. Anyway, in we go. And the council has just started. Chairman has called everybody to order. It's packed. Not packed with anybody other than councillors, I may say. There are only 4 of us on the sidelines, and there are only 2 when I arrived, so I made 3. And then somebody else came after me, so there were 4. And it was an interesting evening, to say the least. First of all, I bumped into a friend of mine who is a former mayor, former councillor, during the day. And I said that I'd been very critical and it would be interesting to see what would happen. And he said, well, in my day, he said, we actually managed to keep a lock on what was going on. We were able to question the executive. And when I say the executive, I mean the people who actually run the council, the Sir Humphreys, and the people that are paid to do it. Although politicians pocket enough nowadays, I suppose, one way or another. The interesting thing is, he said that nowadays, if I was up there, I would be afraid to speak. He said, even towards the end of my tenure, he said, the politically correct was going so far, so politically correct, he underlined, that we didn't dare say anything. He said, and that's the trouble with this council. Well, was he correct on that? Yeah, I think so. There's a leader of the council got up and said, I'm very pleased with the way I've managed to get us into civilised debate. So no name calling and no using the privileges. So well, let's all be terribly polite. Well, that's not what democracy is about in this country. During the presidency of Richard Nixon, he came to. Nixon was a very strange man, and to say the least, and wasn't known for being terribly civil in the things that he looked at. But he came to London, and he was given the privilege, and it is a privilege, of sitting on the floor of the House of Commons. There is a little box at the back of the chamber, in the Commons chamber, where VIPs can sit, so they get the full feeling of being in the debating chamber in the House of Commons. And it was at Prime Minister's question time. And after 2 minutes, he said to his aide, get me out of here, get me out of here. And as he stormed out, he said, if anybody thinks we ever will have that form of government in the United States, they've got another thing coming. He didn't understand that our executive, which in this case we were talking about not the Sir Humphreys, but about the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, were undergoing a grilling, a severe questioning to find out exactly what was going on and to keep them on the right straight and narrow. That didn't happen. That doesn't happen at Lewes. I think it should. Let's bring back debate. And if a few politically incorrect terms are thrown around, let's ignore them for what they are. 9 times out of 10, we say things in the heat of battle that we don't really mean. And once in a while, if we get carried away, let's get carried away. But to suffocate debate and democracy the way that it is there was no debate. Well, there was, because 2 feisty independents actually got not steamed up, but they asked some severe questions. One was Stephen Caitlin, who's a lovely man, and if you're a Louisian and you wander around Lewes, you can see him. He wears very distinctive striped jackets. He once owned the tobacconist and sweet shop on Lewes High Street before he was forced out because of high rents. And he went into politics because he was so upset with what was happening. And he is feisty. And he actually did give a little bit of a grilling where he was permitted to of the leadership, the major party, but not of the executive. In fact, it's difficult to tell who are officers and who are councillors. I mean, that's just how damn silly it's become. And but anyway, he gave a good account of himself, and so did Ruth O'Keefe, who, as I've said before, I've had my differences with Ruth, but nonetheless, I recognise that she is a very, very good counsellor and really can go on the attack. What I didn't know, and I found out last night, was that she's able to make very amusing and waspish little speeches. And whereas Stephen was the knight in shining armour going full head on, she was nipping around the edges with some amusing comments. And probably between the two of them, they were quite effective, except that they're outnumbered, of course. Whenever there was a vote, whenever anybody wanted to put something different there, is those for, 2 or 3 people who were for. Those against, somebody pulled a string, and the entire leadership, the entire leading party, all of them stood up as if pulled by a string. It was incredible. It's quite incredible. And then somebody, they go the string and they all sit down again. It's talk about a 3-line whip. Oh, well, the one thing you can be assured of is they're all very genteel. They're all very gentlemanly. Nobody gets excited. They all do as they're told. Oh, no wonder. And then in between the debate, the main party, the people that we would think would want to hold the council account, kept on saying what wonderful officers they got, and then the officers did this and the officers did that, and what a superb administration. You know, these are people who are supposed to be representing us, the people. Who do they talk to? It's almost impossible to talk to anybody who is finding the council's function right now satisfactory. And one gentleman, I'm not sure whether he was certainly, let's put it this way, the opposition. I'm not sure whether he's a Lib Dem, stood up and said that he's having great problems with the phone system. Well, everybody's having great problems with the phone system. Somebody bounded up and said, oh yeah, well, don't worry, it's going to be fixed soon. Well, they said that 6 months ago in front of the scrutiny committee. And they actually, the phone system was on the blink for about a year. And then it's going to be fixed soon. It's going to be fixed soon. And did anybody challenge it? Not a bit of it. Not a bit of it. We've got some fine people here in charge. Thank God there's an election. Oh dear, I'm getting carried away, aren't I? Here, let's calm me down with Dandelion Charm and September.
Take good care of all you see and do. Keep your sunshine, hold it close to gets lost, but time is always new. And always will remember the light shining from you. And I hope your September is not blue, is not blue.
Dandelion Charm out of New Haven, my favourites. They really are terrific, and they are local. But boy, I think they're heading towards the international scene. Well, certainly the national scene. Very, very accomplished musicians, because they write a lot of their own stuff, and they are also a great sound. But you know, one of the things that the professionals, happens to professionals, is that quite often you know that when they're on stage, is the smile is fixed, the approach is fixed, and it's just another night at the office, another day at the office. But when you see Dandelion Charm, the two of them, first of all, is husband and wife, and they're patently in love, and they let it be seen on stage with the excitement that sparks between the two of them, and they are a great act. Don't miss them. Dandelion Charm. They're on around Sussex. You catch them while you can, because soon I think we'll probably be paying a fortune to see them at the O2. Perhaps not within the next week or two, but certainly they're on the go, and you can get their records. Look at it. They've got a Facebook page, Dandelion Charm. They've got a website. Take a look at it. You won't be disappointed. Right, okay. Now, there was some mention of New Haven in the debate last night at Lewis District Council, and I hasten to add that, if you like, I'm sort of a Little John or a Quinton Letts or whatever. I didn't go to really look carefully at what was being discussed. I was more interested in how the council behaved, because we've got an executive that is the criticism is just mounting. The whole council system is dysfunctional, and I wanted to know